All right. I don't want to delay much, Guruji. I don't want to take much of your time here. So let me start off. Uh, Thank you so much, Guruji, for joining our Sampige Kannada Association in such a short notice, actually. So I wanted to tell everyone like this talk was supposed to happen in February or March. I requested Guruji saying that there is no happening this weekend, Guruji, and I feel like this is the right time wherein more of the youth crowd can join us because they will not be able to go out. And I just requested Guruji, can we have a session today? And he just accepted it. So ever grateful to Guruji for accepting it, and I hope everyone, especially the youth, um, will be able to utilize this session very well today. Thank you so much. So, a warm welcome to everyone. Can you all go on mute? I hear some noises. So, before the session starts, can you all go on mute? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all for joining the session in such a short notice. We just sent out an invite yesterday, and I already see a lot of them joining. So, thank you so much. Let us all welcome Swami Chidananda Guruji. Uh, I think many of us already know him well, but still, I would like to give a quick introduction of Guruji. Um Swami Chidananda Guruji has been a Vedanta teacher and speaker on human values for 4 decades. He is the founder trustee of Fowai Forum, which disseminates spiritual wisdom of the Gita, the Upanishads, and many other scriptures of India. Fowai is an acronym for the flame of Who Am I. He is quite conversant with Kannada, English, Sanskrit, and Hindi. Between 1984 and 2002, he was part of the Chinmaya mission. He was a Vedanta teacher in San Jose, California for 5 years in the mid 1990s. In India, he taught Vedanta at Bengaluru, Kochi, Delhi, etc. He visits USA every 2 or 3 years and lectures at many cities there like San Jose, Los Angeles, Dallas, Fort Worth, Raleigh, Tampa, Chicago, etc. He has occasionally spoken at American universities, including our own Duke University. The Vatican invited him to speak at an international conference in Rome in 2015. During this 3 day event, he met Pope Francis also. He has spoken at corporate platforms like Microsoft India, Lucent Technologies, Chicago. He has addressed audiences at academic institutions like IITs, ISB, and IIMA. He is the author of 7 books, specially known for his presentations on Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. Hailing from the Udupi district in Karnataka, he lived for 19 years in North India. Born in 1957, he had begun with a career in electronics engineering with a BE from Mysore University and an MTech from IIT Madras. Thank you so much, Guruji, once again for joining us. We are looking forward to hear the talk living a balanced life in this hurried world, which is much important to us, I think, in this current distracted world. So I'll hand it over to you, Guruji, for the talk, and I'll go on mute. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anita. It is my pleasure to offer a talk at this platform. And in good old days, I had no idea of North Carolina, but my association began in 2013. I have come a few times to Raleigh, and I very appreciate you of the beautiful natural surroundings, so much greenery, and my eyes opened actually. Earlier, I thought California alone is so pretty, but North Carolina actually beats California in its greenery and natural surroundings. So, all the more pleased to know so many of people speaking Kannada live in North Carolina in the Research Triangle and so on. And therefore, I am truly delighted to offer some services to the Kannada Association here. Without going into these secondary details more, let me plunge into the theme we have taken, about which it's my pleasure to say a few words: finding balance in this hurried modern world. Bhagavad Gita actually talks about balance. One of the famous sayings of Sri Krishna is Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. More than standing upside down or doing some difficult postures or any other thing that normally people think of when the word yoga comes up, Lord Krishna says to maintain inner balance is yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. He clarifies siddhi asiddhyoho in success and failure. And at other places, he says, when somebody insults us, or at some other time somebody praises us, rather than getting carried away by this insult or praise, if we maintain certain balance deeper inside us, of course, for courtesy, we will say thank you to someone who appreciates our work. And in a befitting manner, if someone criticizes us, we may react in an appropriate manner. But even as we deal with the situation in what is fit and proper, inwardly, if we can maintain our balance, that is of great value. Whether it was 5,000 years ago, whether it was at the time of Duryodhana and Yudhishthira, or even before that, Rama and Ravana, or today in this new millennium, in this 21st century, the situation in our inner world is pretty much the same. What pleases us is praise, compliments, and certain respect, regard that is shown to us. And what embarrasses us or hurts us is when we are neglected, when we are disrespected, when we are insulted, and so on. There is something deep in us which is very sensitive. Sometimes we have so many, enviable titles, qualifications, positions in this modern world. In modern world, for example, especially as I address a lot of you who are settled in the United States, so many houses are proud that their son, their daughter, or sometimes even a grandson working in North Carolina, in California, Chicago, so many places. They're so proud. But they also admit whatever all this external glamour, glitter, and something truly worth admiring is, the struggles of life remain pretty much the same. A whole lot of maybe loneliness, maybe stress, maybe issues of relationship, something or the other. Life is never a bed of roses for anybody, whether she or he is in a developed country or a developing country, and so on. Therefore, it is that we draw from the wisdom of our own India, our own land from which we came, not only from Gita, but as Sampige is a Kannada association, I must mention there is so much to learn and draw from Mankutimana Kagga of DVG, which is sometimes called the Gita of Kannadigas. Therefore, Kuvempu, Dara Bendre, Shivrama Karanta, and a whole lot of writers, speakers, they have left behind a legacy, and from their writings too, we can draw a lot that relates to the topic we have chosen, which is finding balance in this hurried world. Now, why is it that this hurried world, first of all, became so hurried, and secondly, is causing so much difficulties to us? It is surely because our priorities have gone a little topsy-turvy. In the quest for higher standard of living, in the quest for certain position, certain accomplishment in the outer world. I don't mean only expensive homes or luxurious cars, etc. That's very gross. A whole lot of us, especially Indians, I would say, are interested in achieving in the intellectual world, in their research, in their work at the companies where they go for many hours every day. They want to leave behind a mark. They want to excel. They want to prove their self-worth or their worth, I should say. That's very good. But the priorities get damaged when, in the process, they hardly pray, they hardly meditate, they hardly leave alone God or religion. They hardly do even some simple breathing exercises. They hardly give enough exercise to their body. Therefore, it's a matter of how my spiritual teacher, Swami Chidananda used to say, somebody has a large plate before him or her, which has all the delicious items to eat, but this person's stomach is upset that afternoon. So she cannot eat any of them. She just gobbles some tablets and says, "Oh, I can't take these on this day." So, of what use is external accomplishments in art or music, science or any other subject, or in amassing wealth and so on, if inwardly they have gone weak? Therefore, as a Swami, as a spiritual teacher, I have much to share with all of you, and maybe on another occasion for much more youngsters than others. So we will tailor it. We will make the material appeal to the audience that is targeted. I have much to share about inner development. And let me confess before you, even as I use the word share, I mean it actually, for teaching is the best way of learning. I myself am with all of you, traveling in the same boat. I don't profess to be on a very high level, etc. We learn together as we apply our minds to these beautiful teachings. Now, talking about finding balance, the spiritual heritage of India makes a very astonishing statement. It says, "You deep inside are by nature balanced." It is because you get carried away by thoughts. You allow your thoughts to tyrannize you. You allow your thoughts and emotions to enslave you. You got to be the master of thoughts. You got to be the master of your emotions. No wonder today, around the world, even in the corporate world, EQ is so much being recognized. It's not enough if we have intelligence quotient, which is a misnomer. It should actually be called logical intelligence quotient. And then emotional quotient is the emotional intelligence measured. So we recognize, but actually the journey doesn't stop with just IQ and EQ. We need to go one step further and grow spiritually. Now, the word spiritually may scare some people. What is this spirituality? Let me hasten to clarify. And here I quote a Vietnamese monk who passed away a couple of years ago. His name was recommended. He was nominated by no less a person than Martin Luther King Jr. for Nobel Peace Prize decades ago. He was so eminent, this monk whose name was Thich Nhat Hanh, and he has left behind many books. This monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, said, "The miracle is not about walking on water. It is about walking on the earth with peace in our heart." And that is indirectly a pointer to what spirituality is all about. Spirituality is not about some miraculous powers, materializing something from your hand. Some swamis rarely, some siddhas may do such things, but they too, if you get close to them, they say, "These little miracles we do are only to attract people. My main work is to teach them the art of living." So, what is spirituality? In some sense, we may say it is about maintaining inner peace. In the Gita, Sri Krishna says about meditation in the sixth chapter. If we meditate, if we draw our attention to our own mind and channel it properly, even for a little while, this is my expansion of what Sri Krishna says. He doesn't talk about duration of time, but he says, Yasmin stito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. The prose order of that poetic line is Guruna api dukkhena na vichalyate. Even when grave adversity comes to us, we are in big trouble, let us at home or at work or somewhere in the society. Na vichalyate. We are not disturbed. We do not get shaken. So Bhagavad Gita directly talks about this issue of remaining equanimous, remaining equal in pleasure and pain and so on. But the big question that many of you surely will ask is all that description is wonderful, but tell us how. How do we arrive there? It is as simple as on a physical plane, if you and I want to be healthy, strong, all our systems, all our pathology test results are normal. In order to ensure that, it's very clear. Many of you in the younger generation go to gym regularly. You have physical exercises to some extent, made part of your weekly schedule. It's very clear that if we exercise our muscles, if we exercise the body, and if we take right food, then we will have no blood pressure, no blood glucose, diabetes problem, etc. Apply the analogy to the inner world of emotional self management. There too, if we apply our mind, not the body, not the hands or legs, if we apply our mind to healthy food on the mental plane, what is it we read? What is it we watch? If out of proportion we watch violent movies or videos which are all about sense pleasure, which are all about fun, life has to have a little fun. Nobody disagrees. We Swamis also sometimes take a short break and have some fun, let me tell you. But if fun becomes high priority and moral education, value education, education through what we read, what videos we watch, etc. Education in the context of healthier values. I often recommend, in addition to Gita or Upanishads or Ramayana, etc., I recommend sometimes a popular book from the United States, which has sold all over the world in millions. That is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. When I lived in San Jose, California for 5 years, between 93 and 98, my Indian audiences, Indian people were my audiences. They noted that I was quoting Stephen Covey, that book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, so often. And then a senior engineer of Hewlett Packard one day told me, "You seem to be fond of Covey. There's a dinner in San Francisco this Saturday. We at HP have got a few tickets. Would you like to join us?" And I went and met Stephen Covey briefly. We had a one-to-one discussion too. Why I'm mentioning Covey's name here is, in his book, here and there he compliments the Bhagavad Gita of India. But he talks about healthy values like seek to understand rather than seeking to be understood. That's one of the seven habits. Seek to understand. Let's say one of you has a little bit of conflict with your own spouse. There can be two approaches. A less healthy approach is the husband says, "I want her to understand me. She never understands me. She never understands me." He yells or screams or cries. Now, Kavi would say, "Look, that's unfortunate. We sympathize with you, but take a short break from your usual complaint. Have you tried to understand her?" And another day, the wife also has to follow the same value. So, when in a situation of conflict, we try to seek to understand the other, putting it first, and then desiring that the other party understand us, that what comes first, what comes later can make a big difference. Likewise, another habit which is worth mentioning from Stephen Covey's teachings is his policy of proactivity. That's the first habit he talks about. Be proactive. That means rather than situation becoming favorable to us, we take the initiative. What is a little extra contribution I can make on my own? Let me take the initiative. Even if the situation is not so favorable, against odds, perhaps there is something I can do all the same. And we take up. Now, I'm sure many of you, I'm keeping in mind especially the parents of young children here who are doing well in their jobs, follow this principle, be proactive to keep your job, to rise in your job. But ask yourself the question, do you follow this value of being proactive in your personal life, in your family life? Do you give quality time to your children? Do you give quality time to your spouse in a weekly, format? So these are examples. In Gita too, Sri Krishna talks about values. Mukta Sangaha, Anahamvadi, Dhriti Utsaha Samanvitaha. He says in the 18th chapter, without being unduly attached to a lot of pleasure or something that you desire a lot. Yeah, it's natural for you to desire certain good things in life, but don't be overly attached to them. Mukta Sangaha, Sangha means attachment. Anahamvadi, don't be so egoistic. A little egoism is part of all of us. That is understandable. But if in every matter, in everything, we want our way, there's a saying, right? Do it my way or hit the highway. So if we want our way always, everywhere, it may take us to some distance, up to some distance. But later on, nobody would want to work with us. Therefore, you had, I think, was it Warren Goldsmith? There was a wonderful author. You look up Google, I'm telling you, the title is, I remember very well. What got you here can't take you there. There's a book, very popular book, a bestseller. What got you here will not take you there. What a strange title. For Americans, nothing is strange. They will sell it out. They will make it, sell well. So what got you here won't take you there is a best-selling book, which means with certain skills, maybe subject knowledge, you rose to a certain point. But to rise further, what got you here? That's subject knowledge alone won't take you all the way up. You need human relationship skills. Therefore, Sri Krishna saying Anahamvadi has bearing on this. If you can keep your I a little down, and you're available, but give chance to others also to do, chance others for others to shine. Sometimes let them lead, you walk with them. Sometimes you lead and they walk with you. Little bit of give and take. That is reflected in that verse 24th of 18th chapter. Mukta Sangaha Anahamvadi Dhriti Utsaha Samanvitaha. We must have certain fortitude. Many of us might be excellent in maths or physics, in computer science or economics or any other subject. We dazzle. However, when little obstacle comes, when somebody disagrees with us, some prospects are a little bleak for us in some matter, suppose we lose heart, we feel right away we go to the extreme of leaving the company, leaving this association, and we lose our enthusiasm. That is not good. Just as we mastered certain subjects or we have certain skills where we put in some excess, put in some time and energy and got good in that, got to be good in that. Now we can work used to give in very easily, we can say, no, I won't give in or give up so easily. I will persevere. So that is dhriti, holding on, not to yield easily in a good venture, in a good enterprise. Utsaha, it's there in all our Indian languages. Utsaha is enthusiasm, not artificial, by a certain inner attitude. Like, you may think of, if you are a believer in God, you may think of God. God, give me the energy, give me the strength. With your grace, I will be able to manage well. And that talking to yourself in that way can help you have utsaha. Sometimes these some simple tricks. I must say, long back I read a little book from, I picked up from some Barnes and Noble shop. And there was an interesting meditation suggested by some American author. I remember his surname was Iyer, Ayre, not the Indian Iyer, but Iyer. I think it was a couple, Iyer couple. But what I'm talking about is there was a certain husband who had a very loving wife and very lovable children. But one problem with their home was maybe they were too attached to this man of the house. Every evening when he came back from work, as soon as he enters the home, the wife very lovingly but a bit naggingly would say, "Did you get that which I wanted you to bring on the way home?" And the man would forget many times. And then she would say, very lovingly, but so, "Oh, you always do this, you forget what I tell you." Meanwhile, the son also has a complaint, the daughter also has a complaint, and the man would feel very agitated. Then he went to some counselor, and the counselor gives him what is called garage meditation. Interesting concept. Not meditation on Vishnu or Shiva, on Rama or Devi, but garage meditation. It's not meditation on the garage, but in the garage. So the counselor said to him, "Look, you are a nice man, and as I hear you, it's clear that your wife also is a well meaning lady. Children also love you and admire you, but little bit emotional distress or bad habits. Some fight comes up in your home. Do one thing. When you come and park your car in the garage, even as the door behind you closes, turn turn the lights on or maybe in the dark. Don't rush into the house immediately. Sit for 5 minutes and take a deep breath and say to yourself, how my wife and children receive me this evening is up to them. I have no complaints about it. But I'm going to smile. I'm going to say, oh, I'll go and get it now. Oh, yes, I'll take you this evening, this Saturday to a movie. Don't worry. To the son, not to the daughter. I'm going to be in good spirits, cheerful. And if you find it helpful, the counselor also added, in the garage, do a little bit of regulated breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, a little systematically. You will find that as you enter the home after 5 minutes, though the family may hear the sound of the garage door closing and are wondering, what is he up to? What is he doing in the garage? They might be a little more agitated about it. Never mind. You go in, no matter what they say, you'll be able to answer them in a neat and nice way. So I liked it so much, that story, and you can adapt it to your own situations in various way. Spiritual books like Bhagavad Gita and books like Mankuti Manakagga, they have so much to say about how to deal with situations, how we must live our daily life. So, talking of finding balance in a hurried world, the world may be hurried. Is it necessary that we too, for right or wrong reasons, hurry? Should hurry become our habit when there is no pressure at all? Suppose we hurry, that is not very meaningful. There are times when we want to hurry, no denying, but there are other times where we need to slow down. Slow down. There is a saying, slow down and achieve more. Therefore, we need to reassess every situation. Sometimes, when we have just an hour of time, one of the mistakes we make is we begin with some unimportant things, and then only 15 minutes are left. Then we say, oh, this important thing is remaining. Then we get tensed up. Therefore, all the time management gurus advise us, which applies to personal life as much as to the work life. We must begin with what is a bit difficult, what is important. Can you believe in Valmiki Ramayana? Ram says to Bharat, the scenario is when Bharat goes to the forest trying to bring Ram back. My dear elder brother Ram, don't go to the forest. My mother committed a blunder in asking you to go for 14 years to the forest. Please come back. He falls at the feet of Ram. But Ram says, no, I will not go back on my word. But now that you have come, I will share with you some tips on good administration, good governance of Ayodhya. And there is a whole sarga, we call it, a whole chapter in Ayodhya Kanda of Valmiki Ramayana, where something like 65 to 70 valuable instructions are given by Ram to Bharat about governance. And one of them is about time management. When I read Stephen Covey's book, where for time management he gives the tip first thing first, that is his formula. Important things first, not easy things first, not unimportant things first, not petty things first, but important thing first. You have 1 hour, there is an important thing which needs about half an hour, do it first. Then you will get so cheered up. So Ram says in a verse in that Ayodhya Kanda's 100th chapter or sarga, you do you, oh Bharata, do you pick up a list of things to do, and do you do that which is which requires less time but gives lot of yield? The expression used is lagu moolam mahodayam. Lagu moola means moola is investment or time you give, money you put in, energy you put in. You know what is an important work after all? What Stephen Covey calls first thing. First thing has to be done first. By context, first thing means that which is truly important. And what is truly important? What is truly important is by finishing it, you will be filled with a great sense of satisfaction. Unimportant things, things which don't have to be done at all. Sometimes, we do things which is not our business at all, which is none of our business. There are others waiting to do it, but we say, I must do this. I only will do it. Nobody else can do it. Oh, did my video? No, it's there. Oh, my video is there. So, he uses the expression, Lagu Moolam Mahodayam. Lagu Moola means there are some tasks in your list of tasks where those items require a little of time and energy, and Maha Udayam, the financial benefits or some other relationship benefits, and above all, a certain satisfaction in your bosom is Maha, and that is what in today's world we call high priority jobs. Once more, I would say these high priority tasks should not be limited only to work life for various benefits and various other pressures. We do it to an extent, not to full extent, but we tend to sometimes ignore the same principle in home life, in family life, in society, and so on. So if we are more selective towards what is important, do that first, and then less important things later. It can go a long way. So Ram talks about Sattvika Karta in 18th chapter. Mukta Sangaha Anahamvadi Dhriti Utsaha Samanvitaha and Siddhya Siddhyoha Nirvikaraha. Again, instead of Samatvam, he uses the word Nirvikara. Siddhi, success, Asiddhi, failure. In success and failure, you have an option to get agitated. But think before you really go into an emotional swing. Can you be a bit balanced? Vikara means agitation. Vikara means anger. Maybe some other time it can be jealousy. Some other time vikara it's translated as mental modification. Your mind tends to get modified into anger. So instead, let the mind be in its neutral state. Take note of the failure. It is sad, of course, but let me look at it carefully. And sometimes, in what is first depressing, you see a good side too. Many a time, you get, first you get some news, and then you find there's a bright side to. There's a what you call that bright side to the cloud. The glow at the edge of the cloud. So many a time, 9 out of 10 occasions, really speaking, there is no reason to get agitated. But if we are so mechanical in our emotional responses, if we are so habitual, we are like machines, we become mechanical, then we are going to be in trouble. So, in a summary fashion, I should say that at 4 levels or in 4 spheres, there is much we can do to be more balanced in life situations. And you know what those 4 areas are? 4 domains. They are the areas where, in the Indian tradition, the 4 great yogas are described: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. In Karma Yoga, it is about doing. Karma means what you do. In whatever you do, suppose you are able to slightly have a different attitude. I am doing this for my gratification, for me to shine, for me to earn more, for me to have my way. This is, of course, something that comes naturally to us. Like they say, by nature, water flows from higher level to lower level. You and I, with hardly any exception, tend to think of ourselves first, which is okay to some extent. But rather than hurrying about that approach, if we pause and say, for a change, let me do this for the benefit of others, once more at work, at home, everywhere. Let me do this. Suppose a parent is doing something, one part of his mind may say, I'm doing this. Of course, it's for my son. He has been bothering me. I get this done, and I'm really. His demands are getting to be too much these days. Like that, some negative thoughts may arise. So, on one hand, you love your son or daughter so much. On the other, you get a little nagged. But Karma Yoga says, as you are doing a piece of work, which is for your son, let us say, something related to his school, his project, and so on, say to yourself, I'm doing this purely for the joy of my son. I want him to be happy. I want him to be emotionally stable. I want him to be joyous as he goes to school, as he returns from school. It's all for him. And I don't want to get anything for me, and so on. So for the other, you know, now all of you are living in the United States, and this may be an old quote, but still it's perhaps always relevant. John F. Kennedy, in his commencement address, had said a statement which is much quoted even today. He says in that famous speech, ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. You know what? That is an echo of Sri Krishna's Karma Yoga. Do things for, in the place of country, you may put family, your company, your colleagues, your team. I'll do this so well, all my team should give a sigh of relief. They should be happy. And it doesn't matter whether my name comes up or not. So in this competitive world, I would honestly say you need to compete, but along with that competitive spirit, put a little bit of service mindedness. You can't totally say, I don't want to be mentioned at all. It doesn't work, I know, in the corporate world. You need to, at the right time, say, look, that is done by me. but it doesn't have to be all me only. Put a little bit of, you know, it's like Swami Chinmayanand used to say in olden days story, you know. Now we can change the gender also. But the olden days 60s story is a husband comes home and says, "Where is my tea?" And the wife places a cup of tea. "Drink this tea." He takes one sip and says, "Again you forgot sugar." And then I believe the witty and clever wife smiles and says, "Oh dear, see, I have put a spoon also. You just have to stir that sugar." And he makes a face and he stirs. Of course, she has put the right quantity. Stir it 2 times, and it's delicious tea. Likewise, you know, so we need to mix. There is sweetness in us. Mix that sweetness with what otherwise is a highly like rat race, as they say, always struggling for our coming up, our shining, our being noted, and so on. A little of it is, if you think so, permissible. But that let there be truly from the bottom of your heart a little spirit of service to others. That is karma yoga. It's not about doing a lot of karma. It is doing whatever little you do with a loving and service minded attitude. Then there is bhakti yoga. If you believe in God, love God, remember God, think of even a few minutes, never mind the duration. Oh, I don't have much time. Do you have 5 minutes in the morning or in the evening? Many of the little japa or little hymns, there are some beautiful in Kannada or Sanskrit or any language. There are very nice uh, bhajans or stotras, or even I may mention there are Bhavagite. You know what is Bhavagite? One that comes to my mind is B.V. Gundapas again. ವನಸುಮದೊಳೆನ್ನ ಜೀವನವು ವಿಕಸಿಸುವಂತೆ ಮನವನನುಗೊಳಿಸು ಗುರುವೇ ಹೇ ದೇವ. There's this song. It has a wonderful message. So for 1 week to begin, morning or evening, either listen to Vanasumadolenna from YouTube, or if you can sing yourself, even better, sing that. There is such a wonderful, devotion to a higher power. We are asking the higher power to guide you in such a way that you give fragrance, like that forest flower, Vanasuma. That forest flower, hiding behind a leaf, is emitting fragrance. Passers-by going by that forest path smell. Maybe it's a Sampige flower, or Sampige flower is hiding behind the leaf in this case. They say, wow, it's so wonderful. And they don't see the flower, but they enjoy the fragrance. Likewise, D.V. Gundappa says in that Bhava Gita, which is totally different from Ankutimana Kagga, let me be that forest flower. Let me not seek. Now, Bhakti Yoga, if I put it in the Bhakti Yoga context, it is that submission to a higher power. In Buddhism and in Jainism, there is no God, but there also they revere the Buddha. Jains revere Tirthankara, the 24th Tirthankara, Mahavira. That is all bhakti, a certain personality. In Hinduism, it is Rama, Krishna, and so on. So that gives us energy. Then there is Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga has, of course, Patanjali gives the eightfold path: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. I believe, I don't know yoga much. There is much literature on all of these. But some simple asanas like Surya Namaskara and so on. By the way, today is Ratha Saptami, and Ratha Saptami is a festival where we worship Lord Surya. And sun salutations have become now more popular than ever before. Yoga has become an international activity. So some yogasana and some pranayama, some breathing exercises. You know what they do? They boost your not only physical health, emotional and the pranic health, various. Prana is not just breathing, it is all the endocrine systems, digestion, respiration, blood circulation, all of them improve. And how is it connected to living a balanced life? Once all your systems are functioning better, even if you want to lose your cool, you cannot. Once you are in much better physical condition, emotional condition, you are happy, you are relaxed. You come out from your home, let us say, singing a song. Then somebody says something, naturally you will not get upset so quickly. Yes. What? Say it again? Oh, okay, you think so? You will react with a smile on your face. Then last comes Jnana Yoga. My expertise is more in Jnana Yoga. That is the path of knowledge. There is much material that you and I can delve into, get into, and that is where it is said, you actually are much more than what you presently know yourself to be or what you presently think you are. Even as we know ourselves to some extent, we think we are this, we are that, we generally are blind to lot of other things which also we are. Sometimes a single situation makes us judge ourselves negatively. What about 100 other situations, happy situations which came in our life? If we remember those situations, our self-esteem goes up. The self-esteem, sometimes saying I am good, sometimes saying I am worthless. These are all play of the mind. If we remember a bitter episode in our life, maybe 5 years ago, it happened, our self-esteem goes down. I am such an unfortunate person. My own father said these bad words to me 5 years ago. That memory makes us feel low. If we remember a pleasant episode, maybe 6 years ago, where the same father or where mother, somebody said, we are the most precious gem of the family, our self-esteem goes up. Both are play of the mind. Vedanta, that Jnana Marga, says to us, thought goes on playing various games. You actually are certain divine essence, Satchidananda, Chaitanya, such words are used. And that is ever happy, ever pure, ever peaceful, ever balanced. There is something deep in you which is by nature unshaken, but you are normally on the surface, on the plane of the current thoughts, thoughts which are currently rising and falling. Oh no, don't be so. See the larger picture. Develop inner strength. Have a little broader perspective. Then you will find being balanced comes so naturally. It becomes second nature, as they call it. Thus, friends, thanking Anita, the new president, once more. I wish the new president all success all through the year. I guess every year perhaps you change for your term, however long or short it may be. Wish you well, and I wish members of Sampige, all the members of Sampige, the very best in this year 2026. I have shared some thoughts. I will be gladly ready to answer some questions or hear some comments. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು ನಮಸ್ತೆ
Tumba thanks, Guruji. Much required talk for I think all of us. Oh my God, lot of good insights. I loved the way you said, seek to understand rather than understood. Oh my God, such a wonderful talk. Thank you so much. I we will try to see if anyone has any questions, or else I had few points to put. Um, Anyone has any questions or any thoughts about the talk what Guruji gave, please you can unmute yourself and you can express it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
Guruji, namaskara.
Ah, please
Uh,
say.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah. Deepak, yeah.
Voice is echoing. Just a minute.
Oh, yeah, some echo.
Yeah, Guruji, namaskara.
Yes, now it's
Uh,
clear.
so this is this is Deepak here. So ನನ್ನ question ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ
Hmm.
few things I see that we focusing on any particular subject, like for example, it might be studies for the kids or any particular topic. The mind wanders a lot. Like for example, you hardly can concentrate on 10 minutes, and again the mind goes into its own way of thinking. It might be into the past or into the future or some other things in the parallel. So,
Hmm.
is there what you suggest for to take a safe approach that mind stays focused on one thing or whatever at that point of time?
Yeah. My suggestion is start small and grow big. What I mean by start small is say to your own mind, all I
Mhm.
ask of you, dear mind, next 15 minutes, stay with this work, stay with this topic. So, as the saying goes, make a plan and stay with the plan. So, you make a plan for 5 tasks to be performed, let us say, one evening or one during the middle of the day, and then mark one of them.
Okay.
So this among the 5 tasks I'm going to take up now, and then say to the mind, for 15 minutes you're going to stay put on this. The mind will cooperate far better than saying, today, whole day, don't go here and there. These are the things that need to be done. The mind would not cooperate. So start small with small windows of time, and there is a high chance that in that small window of time, when you concentrate well and do, you yourself get so happy. Your mind also gets delighted. Sometimes you may not even know that 15 minutes are over. All we had was a starting trouble. And
Okay.
once we get going, it delights us. Therefore, it's called training the mind. It's not suppressing the mind, it's not controlling the mind, it's not bossing over the mind, but it is training the mind. We train our mind to take short periods of 15 or 20 minutes at a time, give the best, and then, truly enough, if the mind says, I want a break, we may give a short break too. So, befriend your mind. That's what even Kagga says, ಮಾನವನ ಆಳುವುದು ಹಠದ ಮಗುವನ ಆಳುವ ತೆರದಿ. There's a padya. Just as we deal with a obstinate a child, saying, "Come, come, sit with me, sit with me for a little while, then you can go and play," and so on. We have to deal with our mind.
Okay. Thanks, Guruji.
Someone else also, I think, was going to ask.
Any other questions? I, Guruji, I had a question.
Yes, Anita.
For the youth, right? It's just not youth actually, even the adults. We are so distracted with this instrument called mobile. so,
Oh, yes,
how
yes,
do we?
yes.
So, especially for the youth, they're so distracted. I feel that they're extremely this gen. I mean, the next generation or the Gen Z. What do we say? What we say, right?
Right.
Gen X or Gen Z, I don't know, I forgot that. But the coming generation, uh, I feel that they're highly intelligent and their brain works much faster than us in everything. But
Yeah.
this one instrument is, I think, distracting them and pulling them down. So, what is your suggestion to the youth about this?
Yeah, yeah. If the youth were to ask me, they themselves were to ask me, I would again give the same advice as I shared in the earlier question. Because if they themselves say, I'm unable to keep away from mobile, I will tell them, keep it away for short windows of time. Train yourself for 20 minutes. keep the mobile away. Even if it rings, don't take it. Say, see later who called and so on. But if parents ask, I would ask them to take a middle path. Define some windows of time where mobile will be taken away. If they're young children, if they're grown-up children, again, you advise them. Look, your grades are coming down. Look, your performance is. Don't you want it to get better? All I'm asking you is, during 5 to 7 in the evening, don't use the mobile, or 7 to 9. You know, leave it with me, and I'll hand it over to you after an hour, after 2 hours. Be a good boy, be a good girl, dear. Like this, parents have to cajole, persuade, and so on. So you got to see their response. You become a part of that training. They have to train themselves too, but you also pitch in a friendly manner. As children grow up, you got to be more and more friendly rather than telling them what is right thing. Because as they pass seventh grade, eighth grade, they are not so amenable to being told. They are open to some suggestions
Mhm.
and some just as a friend shares a thought with them. That's what we need to do. But it all boils down to, I would recommend an author called Eknath Ishwaran, Easwaran. That's how he spells. Look up the Google. He has written wonderful books on this training of oneself. One of them is Climbing the Blue Mountain. Or he has got several wonderful books. He lived in Northern California, originally from Kerala, but his literature, in fact, influenced even some Hollywood heroes and heroines. Because 10 years, he was a professor at UC Berkeley, University of California in Berkeley, in English. The English is terrific. So this training the mind, training the senses. And what I say applies to senses also. Some of us are, even that mobile, part of it is not the mind, it is the senses. The videos that come on the mobile have wonderful pictures, scenarios, and songs, boy and girl going somewhere, dancing, and so on. These young boys and girls want to see; they see themselves as the boy or the girl, having some good company. Therefore, there is a sensation. Eyes want to see that, and ears want to hear music, and the mind wants to dance to that tune. Therefore, what Ishwaran writes in several of his books under a certain caption, training your senses and training your mind, is so practical, so valid. But we should not read it just for the reading pleasure and telling others. We should start a small session of practice every day. A diabetic, for example, should one sweet he took, let's say he should say, next 1 week I will not touch any sweet. That's the training part. But the mind says, take every day this week, and the following week don't take at all. The mind plays its games. We should not yield to those games.
Thank you so much, Guruji. One last question I had. Can you suggest any two books for the youth, Guruji, so that they can some good read books for youth to start off? I
Mhm.
think one book, Climbing the Blue Mountain. I have written it. I think I will
By,
let you know.
by Ishwaran, yeah.
Yeah, Ishwaran.
One other, if they are high school boys and girls who can read a little serious one, not very serious, but what is very popular and what who is that black TV anchor, black TV anchor who used to interview a lot of people. She also praised him. The author's name is Michael Singer,
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey. So Oprah Winfrey interviewed and has recommended his book. It's called The Untethered Soul. Untethered, tethered, tied, untied, Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. That's the second book. Eknath Ishwaran's Climbing the Blue Mountain. These are very balanced and well-written books. Yeah.
Okay, Guruji,
Then,
thank
of course,
you.
yeah, then Vivekananda and such works are, all-time classics.
Yes.
Swami Vivekananda's book from the, and if they are up to it nowadays, the videos of Swami Sarvapriyananda, though it's a little bit higher level. But Swami Sarvapriyananda, who operates from Vedanta Society in New York, as you know, the Vedanta Society called Ramakrishna Mission in India, has a branch at walking distance from Central Park in Manhattan. So, officiating from there, Swami Sarvapriyananda, originally from Orissa, he has brought out maybe 2 or 3 thousand videos so far. And a certain percentage is all about living rightly, general topics, not going into higher Vedanta. So that could also be considered. Google or YouTube ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಸರ್ವಪ್ರಿಯಾನಂದ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
Okay, Guruji. And for the Vivekanandas, you were is there any book that you can suggest the youth so that they might need some suggestions, book names? Any?
Yeah. There are separate books on Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. I would recommend, Karma Yoga and Raja Yoga. Little books there.
Sure. Okay, Guruji.
And any Vedanta Society website,
Okay.
there are probably 25 Vedanta societies in North America,
Okay.
San Francisco, Hollywood, in Los Angeles, Seattle, Chicago, everywhere they have. So any branch will have these books available.
Okay.
Just check Vedanta Society.
Okay. Okay. I think one person has a question. We'll just take this last question and wrap it up, Guruji. How to track
Certainly.
balanced life, Guruji?
How to?
How to track balanced life?
How to track means to check, right? Or to check
Yeah.
how it is
Yeah.
going.
It is asked by
Yeah,
Vanita.
it is the.
Yeah.
Okay, not Anita, but Vanita. Okay. So, tracking, that is keeping a eye on how we are faring over a length of time. Like we track blood glucose, those of us who have diabetes. So tracking. There is a very interesting formula given by some Swamiji in Chennai. It is called FIR. FIR, in law in India, I don't know about US, FIR is related to police report, police complaint. First information report. You go to police and complain about some theft or some other crime, they make you fill up and you first information report you have to create. But here it's a pun on the word. It's nothing to do with police or law or all that. FIR is frequency, intensity, and restoration time. So over a period of 2 weeks, one has to look back. How frequently did I lose my temper? If the problem is this one, anger. Because we lose balance in many ways. We lose our cool and may get angry even with our near and dear ones, with whom our relationship is precious in some sense, but we'll lose temper and. So take it as an example. There are other ways of losing balance also. A diabetic loses balance and eats 10 gulab jamun in one go. Lost, balance lost. Some other place it may be indulging in some other talking and talking. Some people go on and on. So all that is for various forms of losing balance. Now coming to tracking, if you look back, because last 2 weeks is easy to remember. Yeah. In last 2 weeks, I got less angry. I got angry less number of times. That's a tracking, the progress. In last 2 weeks, I got as many times angry as I always used to. There's no progress. Likewise, the second one is intensity. One reflects. If one wants, one can write a journal also every night before sleeping. Today I got angry twice, etc. Intensity means Whether you got angry more number of times or less number of times, that's a different issue. What was the intensity? Suppose you got furious and the whole house or the whole office became silent looking at our behavior. That is high intensity. If you got angry and just the person to whom you were talking was upset and quietly he moved away, that's less intensity. You got angry, but by the time you started speaking, you did not show it in your speech. Inside you are boiling. There's even less. So intensity should come down in your true progress. And R is restoration. You got angry. In olden days, you would take 2 days to get back to normal. You got angry with a colleague at work, let us say, and for next 2 days, if he is coming from this corridor, you go on another corridor. You don't want to face him at all. But when you progress in attaining better balance in life, you restore, come back to normal. Yesterday you are very angry with him. Today morning you see him in the cafeteria. You go to his table and hi. It's a long time since we had coffee together. How are you doing? He is surprised. Is he the same person who got angry with me yesterday? And very soon he or she realizes you are genuine. So you get back to normal behavior faster. From 3 days it comes to 2 days, then it comes to 1 day. This is the standard uh, tool used. Measure the FIR, frequency, intensity, restoration time. They should become less. Yes, Vanita has said
Thanks a lot.
thanks also.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Guruji, from Sampige Association,
Thank you for this opportunity.
taking your time.
Yes,
I
go
mean,
on.
your time is so valuable. I hope, if I think it's not a hope. I'm definitely sure everyone would have got very good insights about this. And thank you again so much, Guruji. Looking forward to more such sessions from you. Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
everyone for
Best of luck
joining
to
us.
everybody.